So remember my lovely nail biter? Well, she came back in and most of her nails were still on. She'd lost a couple that day, but this was 3 weeks on and she'd been cleaning a lot that day. So I'm pretty happy with the results and wait till you see the growth on them. So grab a brew, take a seat, and let's get started. So we're going to start off, as always, by debulking and removing all of that gel. It was difficult to get the shape really well on that first lot, so I'm trying to kind of refine the shape a little bit more before I apply the acrylic, if that makes any sense. So I am just using my 2 extra coarse bit from Katie Barnes, just taking all of that product off and a little bit of the bulk. There's not a lot because there didn't need to be. They're very, very short nails, and particularly with acrylic, you don't need to build it up a lot because it's a really strong product. And if you make it too thick, it's going to be more prone to lifting, etc. Excuse my throat as well, by the way. I was out yesterday at Alton Towers Scarefest and I screamed myself silly and my throat is really sore today. So I will let you watch the rest of this removal and I'll be back in a moment for the prep. And as if by magic, 2 seconds later, here I am. Also, if you do find this content helpful, please do drop me a like and a follow. I'm releasing new content all the time. So as always, we start with our prep. We're just lifting that cuticle to create a pocket for the flame bit to go in. Now, normally I would use my talc, but unfortunately I'd forgotten to take it with me on this occasion. So imagine that there's talc on there first, and then we're just lifting that cuticle, and then we're going down the left-hand side in forward and down the right-hand side in reverse. Try and keep that bit as parallel to the nail as possible. We want to make sure that it's not digging into the nail or anything like that. We're being really gentle. It should only need like maybe a couple of passes, so you'll see like there, I'm kind of cleaning that off. I'm not going in a load. See, 2 or 3 passes and we're done. So then, like I said, down the left-hand side and down the right-hand side. Next step, as always, with our cuticle scissors. Now, my client, because I'd just done them 3 weeks prior, and because she gets really regular manicures now, there's very little cuticle work needs doing. It's an absolute pleasure doing her cuticles, to be honest with you, because there's really very little to nip. Now you'll notice as well I'm brushing that constantly, and what that's doing is making sure that any cuticle that I've missed is lifted up so I can see it, but also it's cleaning any kind of debris out of there so I can see very clearly that my pocket and my nail plate is clear. So next you want to dehydrate and prime. Now the dehydrator I use is Bexy Glows, but any dehydrator you use is ideally use one from your system. But in all honesty, dehydrator tends to be a mix of acetone and alcohol. So if that's what you're using, that should probably do it. But if you're having lifting issues, that's something that you can always revisit. Then I'll go in with my Young Nails Protein Bond. I do 2 coats of this. Highly recommend, as always. It's fantastic. Whatever system I'm working with, it works, an absolute treat. And then we're going with our cuticle prep. So we're just basically applying a really small bead. I've taken off quite a lot of product, probably about, say, 60%, something like that. And because it's not a particularly long nail, I don't need to add a ton. But I am just making sure there's a little bit of an apex in there, and I'm happy with the shape before I move on to the next one. Next, we'll do our usual filing routine. So I'm using a metal file board, which honestly, absolute game changing. If you haven't got one, get one because it's really cheap as well. But basically what you want to do is you want to file the free edge, and then I'll go down the right-hand side of the nail, the left-hand side of the nail rather, then the right-hand side of the nail, and then I'll bevel over the top. So I'll kind of include kind of smoothing in the cuticles with that when I go around the cuticle area at the beginning, if that makes sense. So this is what I mean when I say I go around the cuticle. So once I've finished the free edge, I go round the cuticle, down the right-hand side of the nail, round the cuticle, down the left-hand side of the nail, bevel over the top. If you do the same routine on every nail, then they'll all look the same. Once you've done all that filing, give it a really good cleanse, and then we're going to go in with our gel polish. This particular one is from Gelafique, and I think it's called Warm Chestnut. It's really good, highly recommend. We're doing a tortoiseshell on the ring finger, so I'll come back in a moment to show you that. But remember to always have, even when you're doing acrylic, have your gel liner brush ready to make sure that cuticle is really, really neat. So the tortoiseshell is literally the easiest thing that you could do, honestly. Don't overthink it, it'll make it so much easier. So basically you'll go in with one layer of your torty gel paint. This particular one is from Honer, and it's just literally called Torty. It's exactly what it's designed for. And then you're going to use a dotting tool, going with black and chestnut brown, black first, chestnut brown. This is without curing it. Smush that all in together, let it sit for a minute so it'll blend, and then you stick it in the lamp. Then one more coat of the torty over the top. You'll see the process in a second. And I do add some gold flakes and stuff. But yeah, that's it. Simple. So easy to do a tortoiseshell if your clients ask. So this is your final layer of your tortoiseshell after you've fiddled about with the gold for a while. So I'll go in with that, and then I top coat the lot of them. Now that's pretty much everything. So I do hope you've enjoyed that. As I said before, if you have found it useful, please do drop me a like and a follow, and let me know what you want to see in the comments, because I'm always happy to hear what your feedback is. So thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye now.